Hello there. Good morning to you, good afternoon to you, good evening to you from wherever you are watching from. And this is Mayegun Live. And at the same time, happy Easter to you, my viewers. Good afternoon.
Lórí Facebook, lórí YouTube, Mayegun Diary, gbogbo bó ṣe ń lọ ni Mayegun já wa sí. Mayegun Diary, àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í.
Thank you very much for joining me. This is Sunday Sermon, and I have a few of my friends on Facebook that will also be joining us. The Facebook limitation or ban or whatever, suspension, I don't think the effect of that has completely gone. Some are no, it hasn't. So many of you are never going to receive notification that Mayegun is live. Some of you are going to receive it so late. It is deliberate if you are watching me on Facebook. But to my friends on YouTube, many of you are just waking up in America when this broadcast is streaming. However, if you are joining me live, share it before you settle down. Tell them.
Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Lórí Facebook. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Tell them.
Lórí YouTube.
Tell them. Thank you very much for joining me, Jerry. Sunday Sermon on Mayegun's Diary Political is a segment that happens every Sunday where we say it as it is, and we call it a no holds bar session. If you don't have that emotional intelligence to weather this kind of conversation, I would advise you stay away, because this is where, or let me say, this is kind of the segment where whenever I get to a stage where I want to call them Oloribu, I want to call them Oloribuku, I want to call them Wiri, I want to call them this, any name, anything that comes to my mouth that time. This is the kind of the moment I don't hold anything back. And some people get kind of a little bit offended. You know, they're like, Mayegun, you don't need that. You can still pass your message. I know I can pass my message without being, what do they call them, vulgar. Nah, I would prefer to pass it just the way the more direct. So you are welcome to the Sunday Sermon, which also doubles as the Sunday, the Easter Sunday. And myself, your GO, the General Overseer of the Temple of Truth, is about to go fully into this. So if you have made up your mind to stick around and still listen, here we go. Yesterday, Tunubu foot soldiers, they decided to stage an impromptu rally, which ordinarily would have been the declaration for the Godfather if he wasn't rattled in January, based on the intel of those that are already going to rise up against him. And at the same time, his name was removed from the list of those to be considered. Tunubu jumped into the plane, rushed down to Abuja to go and see the deaf and dumb Bokwari, to remind him, Megida, Sonuku, Sonu Daiji, or wherever. I hope you didn't forget our arrangement in 2015 after you na me, not Tunde Bakari. That was your godfather, the kingmaker, who wants to be the king, but is rattled by those he thought he went into an alliance with, who have now turned around to have him for their own supper. He empty-handedly walked into Asshole Rock to go and dobale for Bukwari because Tunubu want to be president. Normally, somebody like Tunubu, as they have paraded him or presented him over the years, you would expect that the day of his own declaration, Lagos must shut down. Nah, Lagos will shut down. It was done inside one room called Asshole Rock. 3 months after that, those who were supposed to be his full soldiers, as they claimed that he made people, he made men, he made wearies, he himself weary, and the rest of them like that, they started declaring against him. Like, they're going to run against him. He can't even run. He can't even walk for real, talk less of running. That was when the humbled slaves, the obedient fools, the sophisticated morons, whose only selling card, or let me say, whose only viable card of Tunubu becoming president is that Tunubu can spend money, young people, the food soldiers, the vuvuzelas, since there is money, they gave them a lot of it. You know one thing, Oshibaju may have Redeemed Church, but for these streets, we spend the money. So that's what they did. They congregated in Lagos yesterday to show that the youth of Southwest, just same way they always use those kind of a generalization and manipulative free words like that, right? They said that the Southwest youth, Yoruba youth, endorsed Tunubu. That is not true. So what happened was that their foot soldiers who are willing to, they call it mobilization. Remember that for 22 years, Yoruba people have become poorer. In 22 years of democracy, 22 years of Tunubu and gang, PDP, APC mismanaging and robbing the people of Yoruba land. Now that's what they weaponize all the time. In time like this, it is a free market. So they went to town all over the Southwest states in Yoruba land. They were able to mobilize. The governor of Lagos State gave them money in order to massage the ego of the Jaga weary, the Jaga bandits, the Jaga addicts. You know the rest. To massage his ego, young people said they are willing to give and hand their future over to Tunubu because he is the only one who is willing to spend like mad. And so far, so good. He has an history of spending so bad, so mad. They are willing to give up their future because they don't even have one. Although this may sound a little bit kind of harsh, it is meant to be harsh. Because in this world of today, with the damages done by these gerontocrats, they call them, all these septuagenarians, old men, senile, demented men, weak old men and women who cling on to public office, not because they have anything to offer, but because they have nothing else to do outside the politics or political office. Tunubu has been living off the politics and the public life of Yoruba land for 22 years. And in that 22 years, or 23 years, by the way, in that 23 years, they have created nothing but poverty, underdevelopment, decayed infrastructure, decayed social system, education system in shambles, healthcare system in shambles, roads, and so on and so forth. The only viable thing, and they have promoted one thing in the last 22 years, the word empowerment. Empowerment every 4 years. They created a new circle of poor people in Yoruba land, and the number is growing. That is where they always have to go to recruit the foot soldiers. But it is sad. Young people have become hopeless in Nigeria. Yes, hopeless. Because if you listen to them and say, come, let's have a chat. How old are you? And maybe say, I'm 25. Oh, great. That means you probably have graduated or yes. What? Oh, yeah, I'm a graduate. And then married, working? No? What's next? Business and all that. You will see the hopelessness in the young people of Yoruba land. No real job, okada riding, conductor agbero, graduate working as casual laborers at different Indian factories, Chinese factories, being treated worse than humans and worse than what you can even imagine, by the way. And it is allowed. They will say, thank God that you get something doing. Some people no get job and they are in that Yoruba land. They are graduates or young people that should be productive. They are now those recruited as political agberos, vuvuzelas. And the most lucrative job in Yoruba land today is politics. Do you know that? So, courtesy of Tunubu and gang. Now, young people who have seen Tunubu, that maybe everything they believed or they were told before now, it's not even just Tunubu. I'm talking about all those rogues who call themselves progressives in Yoruba land. They have deceived you for so long that many of you don't even know when to put a break on it. We know why some won't, but for some of you who actually know better, why you can't put a break on it. For 23 years, ladies and gentlemen, they depleted Yoruba land. They stole and share every goddamn thing in Yoruba land to themselves and their families. But they were able to sustain it based on the politics of Agberu, politics of stomach infrastructure, as they call it, politics of weaponizing poverty. That is the politics that served them and the preview of so many things. And then widen the market, where they will always come back every now and then when they want to massage their ego. So Tunubu want to be president simply because he made some people rich. And through him and others, they made millions of Yorubas poor. They call them mekunu. You are watching me right now. Maybe you are watching me from Nigeria. You probably have also been seeing yourselves as a mekunu, a poor man, a poor boy from a poor home. It is like a toga, a tag that you have to wear with pride and pity, because everywhere you go to, you are meant to be pitied. You are meant to be sympathized with. You are meant to be helped. You get what I mean? But you have seen it that way, but you don't understand how, why. Your parents lived like that too. If you check them, if you check their own parents, they possibly lived like that too. They are called mekuno, mekuno, the poor. And then the people who made you poor destroyed your economy, made you weaker, and then become beggarly in order to always be reliant and dependent on them. The same people now offer themselves as your Messiah by saying they are Ore Mekunu. And that is why the culture of people getting things for free without having to work for it is the culture that got nourished, promoted by the rogues that call themselves Yoruba political representatives. They make you feel like you deserve pity. You get what I mean? You are poor, Abby. I am a poor man too, you know. I grew up as a poor boy. And it is not the poverty of not having things only, right? But it is the mentality to see yourself that you are always limited until maybe if you manage to cross this so and so, maybe you can have it better. You see, this culture of destroying our self-esteem, increasing poverty, and making us more dependent on them, this culture is deliberate. It is called Almajiri culture. It is not popular in Yoruba land. People used to be so ashamed to be seen to be collecting food from politicians. People used to be so ashamed. They will reject it. Don't give me your food. Take your nonsense food away. I can vote for you without your food. Don't give me your money. Don't give me your, you know. But as your democracy continue to grow and grow and grow, Yoruba people continue to fall into poverty and poverty and poverty. And your children are also growing in poverty. Children in Yoruba land, listen to this. Oh, more than 10 million children in Yoruba land, they go to bed hungry, in empty stomach, because their parents couldn't feed them. And the number continued to grow and grow. So when you are growing in poverty and you look around, you have learned the culture of being given, like being under something, you know, you need to help us now. Help us, give me something now. Help us now. Help the poor now. If you help the poor, God is going to bless you with a lot. You know what I mean? You just help the poor. So more people continue to fall into that poverty. And these politicians who are making you to fall into that poverty are offering themselves as your Messiah. And sadly, many of you are also promoting them as your Messiah. You need to see videos, you need to see the interviews, you need to see the conversation of people who are saying they are voting for Tunubu, they are supporting Tunubu because Tunubu is a friend of the poor. Do you understand? There are many people from northern Nigeria who are saying that they were voting for Buhari. They wanted Buhari because Buhari is a friend to the poor people. So they have no idea how Buhari and gang contributed into that poverty, how Buhari and gang pushed them into that poverty. They can't see that because all they will see is that they are hungry, they are starving, they are sick, and at the point of death, a bag of rice showed up, and there it is, with a picture of that politician who remembered them because they are starving. They have no idea that that politician has taken over the entire resources of their land, the resources that if they were judiciously and evenly, equally, shared, will never make you, even if you are poor like me, you will still not have to go and beg a politician for food. You are still never going to wait for the politician to pay your hospital bill. You are never going to need a politician to pay for your surgery. You are never going to need a politician to pay for your children's school fees. You are never going to need them because there is a system where your resources has been channeled and they will provide for you even if you lack. There are poor people all over the world, but there is a system. They have different systems to help people who run short of what they need to survive that day. Food, eh? In so many parts of the world, hunger, food has now become a thing of the past. It's the last thing. The world is battling with homelessness. The world is battling with climate change. In Nigeria, you are battling with God knows what, because your problems that are created there, they are man-made problems. And you see the likes of Tifnubu and gang, who are going to give you money, 20 million, 50 million. When your market get burnt, they give you 50 million until the next one. There is no system that will provide a proper what do you call it, fire service system, a proper medical system, that's medical healthcare system that will take care of those who get injured during fire incident and all that. But since they can just come around, nobody is going to ask, how come there are no good roads for the firefighters to get to this market? How come there are no police to cordon off the road and provide security and protect the scene? How come all those questions nobody is going to ask, because a politician walked in there and he gave them money. They say, that's the politician. Every other thing a story. Just give us money. They created that culture, and it is a culture of dependence because they created the problems. Since they are offering themselves as messiahs, right? It will not make any sense to talk about the problem. Now, that is why when you are talking to an average Nigerian today, right? When you're talking about all of what is going on, they want to talk about the problems, right? They don't like you to mention the names of those who actually created the problems, right? So Tifnumbu and gang, who have created poverty in Yoruba land for 23 years. Of course, I know Nigeria did not start from 2015. Of course, I know that. Nigeria did not start from 1999. Of course, I know that. Yeah, Nigeria started from when? God knows, wherever you want to say it started from, when it eventually started, right? But there's something that's so significant about 1999. It was the first chance for a long time for the Yoruba people, who have always been so vocal. Yeah. Nigeria is this. Nigeria must be restructured. Nigeria the military must go. The Yoruba people, we didn't sign up for this. Blah, 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 black sheep. So in 1999, for the first time in a long time, Yorubas were in charge of our own affairs. And that is significant. So from 1999, that Yorubas have been in charge of our own affair, it is a foolish thing to say that you cannot blame anybody in Yoruba land for what Yoruba land has become, what our people have become, the denial that all of you are living, the poverty, joblessness that you are enduring, the economic hardship that you are enduring for 22 years, 23 years. Yorubas have been in charge of Yoruba land to the point that they have been writing budgets, they have been executing budgets, they have been borrowing money in the name of Yoruba people. They have been doing everything in the name of the Yoruba people in the last 23 years. And that 23 years has created nothing but poverty. So those who actually made that happen, one of them is Tifnumbu, who is now trying to replicate. They have replicated the Alimajirism in Yoruba land. Before I left Nigeria, you would walk into a park going on a trip, and the next thing, a young man can walk to you, dressed nice, he is jobless, but he is going to come to you and tell you how he came to see somebody in Lagos, and he had no money he didn't meet them, he met their absence, and therefore he will need some money to go back to Ado Ekiti where he came from. And usually if you have some spare, you give it to them, and then they will dress nice. Corporate beggar, we call them. There is no corporate beggar anymore. Everyone has turned to both executive, corporate, shallow, whatever beggar, including blackmailing beggars. That is what they have created in Yoruba land. People have turned to, they have turned to dogs eat dogs. Poverty now walk and dress like human being and walk the street of Yoruba land, and everybody is just there. Eh? When it is time to actually say it out, they say, you can't blame them. Oh. Of course you blame them. Tunubu collected the tax in Lagos, which makes times 10 of what the entire Yoruba state makes in a month. Listen to this. The money that Lagos State generates in a month, right? And then if you compare, if you add all the money all the other Yoruba states are generating, internally generated revenue, if you add all of their money together and you multiply the money they generate by, by 10 times, Lagos State money will still dwarf it. That is how much that if Numbuad is holding the progress of Yoruba land. Lagos State is like its own little fiefdom. Lagos State is like its own little conquered territory, including the people, the dweller in Lagos, right? Lagos State is not the glory of Yoruba land. Lagos State could have been the glory of Yoruba land. The people who were shouting restructuring, new constitution, federalism, this and that in 1999, they are now shouting one Nigeria in 2022 because they want to chop big from one Nigeria at the expense of the people they have already savaged for so long, and they are not ready to let go. Think about that. They are no longer talking about a new constitution that will give us a regionalism. They are no longer talking about a new constitution that will guarantee true federalism. They are no longer talking about all this. They were telling us that he said he was going to continue from where Bukwari stopped. Amazing. Which means it's going to continue to be from fire to the furnace now. Before it was from frying pan to fire. Now it's going to be from fire to the real furnace. So young people want, because of money. You see that money that we are talking about, it doesn't really go, the Tifnumbu's money. Tifnumbu's money doesn't go to those sufayos. You know those they call sufayos. The sufayos are those they give 1,000, 2,000 to. Okay, they mobilize them. They will tell them, "Do you want to go to Ashiwaju rally in Lagos?" Say, now free ride, though, free ride, and if you follow us, there's food, there's drink. And they are also going to give us money when we go back to Ibadan or when we go back to wherever we are coming from. So you see, those who are mobilizing them, they are the real G. They are the guys who make the real money. Okay? Because they are those that they will give the bulk of the money to. They are now those who are going to recruit they call them coordinators. They have names for them and title. And people love title a lot. For 7 years, this bunch of ọmọ àlè dédés, because ọmọ àlè ni wọ́n, nǹkan tí wọ́n fẹ́ jẹ, ohun tí wọ́n fẹ́ jẹ, òun ni ò jẹ́ ọgbọ́n. Ọmọ àlè ni wọ́n, oníjẹkújẹ alájẹbánu, àwọn wèrè alápá má ṣiṣẹ́ season wọn la wà yìí. So they will start creating groups for you to know that this is their season. And you see that your brother that you have been talking to about Yoruba nation for so long, who has been pretending to be with you, that your brother is looking for groups. He's asking them everywhere, all over social media. They are looking for Tifnumbu's groups. They are looking for WhatsApp group. Because now there they do recruitment. They are always getting coordinator. You see that your brother where they shout Yoruba Nation on Facebook few months ago, in fact, few weeks ago, watch out for him. Many of them are already opening fake Facebook account, Twitter account, different accounts to work for Tunubu. It's not because they want to vote or anything. Now the money is out. So this is how it works. That rally they did in Lagos yesterday must have cost Lagos more than 200 million. Okay. People that will process the money from Sonweiku for the mobilization for the rally for Tifnumbu, right? They will raise a memo because I kind of have a clue about how they do it because I participated in some of the activities of my local government, Odo, Bolu local government, before I left Nigeria. Yeah. So they always raise a memo. So they will raise a memo. In that memo, right? They will say they will say no, let me put it this way. A group they want to give the job to will write a letter and say, we need your support because we are organizing a 1 million Yoruba youth in Yoruba land for the presidency of Ashiwaju. So once you send that your letter, somebody like a commissioner, somebody within them, then will pick it up. They will raise a memo. They will say, okay, give them give them a 200 million. So they will pass the memo to another department, which before it eventually gets to the governor. By the time the memo gets to the governor, it may probably have increased to maybe 300 million. Or let me put it this way, they will start from maybe 500 million. Then we'll start cutting it down. That's what they do. They'll cut it down. So they'll cut it down to somewhere around 200 million. That rally you watch in Lagos. So I'm just being generous here. Just being kind of economical here. Because it's a free money. Everybody is collecting their share as we speak. So as the money is released, before the money is released, from top back to the bottom until it get back to those who are organizing. So when by the time the money gets to those who are organizing, they will likely get somewhere around 200 million. Put it that way. Now, they are now those who are now going to recruit, they call them state coordinators. They can even make you regional coordinator. They will make you local government coordinator because it is easier. It's their party. Now, by the time the money gets to the hand of the local government or ward coordinator, the last one that may get to that one may not be more than maybe 200,000 naira. So they are now those who are now going to share 500 naira to those who are willing to go. And since hunger, they wire people everywhere. Every small thing on social media, people are begging for money. People are no be joko. So then on social media, since they are already signed up on their WhatsApp group here and there, 500 naira just to go to Lagos, just to be at the stadium. They will give us food, drink. Mama will go, Jare. But to make it even more lively, they can bring your favorite artist too. So last, they call it mobilization. They are not APC member. The same people, the same pattern. Tomorrow, if fake Pastor Ruga says he want to declare in Lagos, you will see thousands of heads. You will see sea of heads. And you'll be wondering, are they his supporters? No. It is about Kudi. And it is the same thing as well during election too. But that one is like a different pattern, kind of different, because it is pretty much like if they give you money this time around, you have to vote and you have to thumbprint just to validate it so that they can rig the rest of those who didn't come to votes and all that. So they took themselves to Lagos. They are not Yoruba youth. They are APC youth mobilized with their money to come and massage the ego of the Lagos landlord, Tifnumbu. But there is something that happened at that rally. Shebi, you heard that everywhere Tifnumbu had been to is always saying that Bokwari is doing well. Bukwari has done well. On the economy, they have done well. On security, they have done well. Blah, 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 blah. It be like said the event of the last few days and few weeks. Don't they make Tunubu? They come out small, say, oh boy, if this the one scatter, make it scatter. I don't feel the because yesterday, Tunubu was telling the youth that when they did not give you electricity, how can they call you lazy youth? Okay, it don't happen. It don't come. He also said, among other things, I have the clip. I'll share that with you. It took a little bit of jive at the bandits. And he said, it will make Nigeria bandit free. So, last, the whole thing they have been like, I told you that many of them who have been praising Bukwari, singing his praise and all that today, they are doing so because Bukwari has their blocos, their Orokmo. Bukwari is holding their scroll. What's it called? What's it called that thing again? No, Shena scrotus. I've been blocos. It doesn't even matter. You shall know as I do my hand there. So Bukwari is holding that. If anybody see anything, if they squeeze and they go, you go, yeah, now Kuje prison straight. That's why everybody is just singing his praise. Buhari is the best thing. If not because of Buhari, Nigeria would have been like this. Nigeria would have been worse. And they know that Nigeria is worse. So they know. But it becomes like saying now that if Tunubu knows that he's not going to be president, he's not going to be president. Very soon, maybe all of them are going to SDP. Are you with me? He's now talking about people will not give you people will not give you electricity. No electricity, no job, no security, no nothing. And they are calling you lazy youths. You now go, yeah, Ram. People who said we were trying to cause wahala for telling you the truth and you pretending that you don't even know the truth. Now, when you see that truth, you are still coming back to accept it. And when you accept it, now then you go feel free. Man, you need to enjoy, you need to experience what it feels like to be free of all these lies that many of you tell yourselves, even in the face of the truth. Tunubu is talking. But before I get to Tunubu, I want to show you the movers and shakers. I don't know if many of you have seen this video. This is how it all started, though. When they say swagger. When they say Tunubu, no shaking. Now, what in they mean be this? Up close.
Non-negotiable. Go and wash your hands. Wash your hands next time. Wash your hands because of Corona. Non-negotiable. Wash your hands clean.
You get that? So that is up close. That is the local politics there. That is Tunubu's politics. Okay. So anything else they tell you on social media, all those, no. You see, that is why they said voters are not on Twitter. PVC, Twitter. There's no polling unit on Twitter. There's no polling unit on Facebook. Of course, it's true. But those they are manipulating and getting to vote for them. If you check up close, that is exactly how they conduct what they call their mobilization, empowerment, as well as empower. They call it empowerment. They will give them Okada, they will give them Keke Marua, they will give them cars for those ones who have actually like here. But that is their politics. They give them money, share money, 1,000 naira. Oh yeah, Tunubu for president. But this time around, now think about that in a bigger way, big number. All right? Something like this. Mhm. Those are the youth, though. I have more. I have more. Take a look at this.